previous two presentation, we have discussed about ground wave propagation and sky wave propagation. And we have seen that sky wave propagation will be taking up to a frequency of the band HF, that is up to around 30 megahertz. Now what about the frequencies above 30 megahertz, how the propagation is taking place, that we shall see in this presentation. So let's start with the presentation. So what we have discussed so far is ground wave communication or propagation and sky wave propagation. In both the cases, the range is very large. That is, the maximum distance between the transmitter and receiver is normally in terms of a few thousand kilometers. However, space wave communication, it is line of sight communication, because here the frequencies which are used are more than 30 megahertz, that is in the VHF range and above this range. And we know that these frequencies are much above the critical frequency for the ionosphere and also maximum usable frequency. Since these frequencies are more than critical frequency, they can never get reflected from the ionosphere and they will never reach the earth back. So the only way of communication will be the line of sight communication. That is, the communication is limited to the maximum distance that the ray can travel over the range, that is up to the horizon. However, there is a slight bending of the waves at the horizon because of the refraction. Therefore, the actual distance or the actual range will be slightly more than the natural line of sight. So this is called radio horizon. The radio horizon will be generally 30% more than the natural line of sight. Now the HR, if it is the height of the transmitting antenna and R is the radius of the earth, then the distance up to which you can get this signal is dt, is given by dt is equal to 4 root of ht into r. Similarly, if dr is the distance of the receiver, then we can write 4 into root hr into r. Therefore, the total range of the communication, that is total range of the space wave communication, is given by d is equal to 4 root of htr plus 4 root of hr into r. Normally this will be up to maximum 100 kilometers. The range of communication can be generally 20 kilometers when the transmitter and receiver are on the ground. However, we can increase the range of the space wave communication by increasing the height of the antenna. If you can increase the height up to 200 meters, then you can increase the range of the communication up to around 100 kilometers maximum. Again, this communication, that is space wave communication, tends to have a fading effect. This is again due to the interference between the two waves. One is the direct wave and other one is the reflected wave as shown in the figure. So the wave will be reflected from the earth and it will reach the receiver, and again one more ray will be reaching the receiver directly from the transmitter as a line of sight. These two rays will be having different path length so that there will be interference. So this will lead to fading, that is change in signal strength. So this is one of the limitations of the space wave communication. Another limitation is that it doesn't penetrate or bend through the obstacles like building, hills, mountains, etc. Which means, unlike ground waves which can bend over the obstacles, these space waves, they will be just reflected back from the obstacles, or they are blocked by the obstacles. So it will be creating what is called a shadow area, because they cannot penetrate or bend over the obstacle, means the rays can't overcome the obstacles and reach the other side of it. Therefore, they will be creating a shadow area. Now let us discuss the mechanism of propagation of space waves. In space wave communication, sometimes apart from the line of sight communication, there is one more type of communication which is called ductile communication. This is due to the situation in the atmosphere which appears sometimes. It's not a very common phenomenon. It happens sometimes at some cold, rough weather. So this is called temperature inversion. Temperature inversion means sometimes a warm layer of atmosphere may be trapped between two cold layers. That means we know that normally the temperature will be decreasing as the altitude increases. However, sometimes it may happen that for certain layer, altitude increases, the temperature will be increasing rather than decreasing. Now this trapped layer behaves as a duct, just like a waveguide, and it is at a height of around 30 meters from the surface of the earth. So now the signals are guided through this duct, and this is called ductile communication. As the frequency is high, the phenomenon of refraction, absorption, interference, everything will be very fast, so it is called super diffraction. In this type of communication, we can have a range up to 2000 kilometers. There is one more type of space wave communication. It is called tropospheric or forward scatter propagation. In this case, the scatter occurs from a certain region of the atmosphere, that is the lower part of the atmosphere, which is called troposphere. When the wavelength is small compared to the eddies due to the turbulences, the scattered rays confined to a small cone in the receiving end. Here, the rays will be directed towards the sky. The transmitter will be sending the signal into the sky, and they will be reflected. In fact, they will be scattered from a certain area of the troposphere, and the receiver will be collecting these scattered waves. The advantage of this type of communication is that it is not something temporary, or it is not something seasonal, but it is a permanent feature, so that it is a reliable type of communication. However, we should know that since the received signal is from scattering phenomenon, naturally only around 1% of, or maybe even less than that, of the energy will be received, which means to get a good amount of received signal, the transmitting energy must be very, very high, which means a very large power is required at the transmitter. This type of communication link is generally used as an alternative link to microwave link, because we know that this is 100% sure kind of communication, which means this is a permanent communication which is possible, however inefficient it may be. Sometimes when all other links of communication are lost, maybe due to some natural disaster or some calamities, we can use this type of communication. For example, in situations like earthquake, etc., there may not be any other type of communication possible. In such situations, tropospheric scatter communication will be very much available. So that is the advantage of the tropospheric or forward scatter propagation. Thank you for your support, and please don't forget to share this video with your friends and give your feedback in the comment section. Thank you once again.